probably seen us all over the racing world and doing a lot of racing designs for events and race teams, but we also do a lot of stuff from small boutiques in small cities all the way up to Fortune 500 companies. Your brand deserves to be seen. We print on more than just shirts, hats, jackets, bags, and much, much more. Custom corporate branding starts here.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another Hump Day edition of everybody's favorite racing recap show. 10 years strong, the show that started it all. This is indeed the Revved Sports Show. Showtime, Bobby Chappie right here with Rusty the dog in the background. The Iceman, Rodney Rodriguez, that is the man to your left on your screen. I noticed that you seem relaxed today. You must be fixing the travel because you always get relaxed before you travel.
Yeah, very well, it's a trip to Fort Worth. Yeah, so it's a TMS event, Mopar heaven this weekend for me. In a sea of Mopar products, which for work I drive one, so I'll fit in well. But just kind of getting set for that, getting stuff done today, and getting set to do some radio gold right here tonight on #Real Race Talk. Looking forward to this, man. I think we got to have a good program.
Those Mopar gearheads are a little intense. If you didn't know that already.
Oh yeah. It's I've
been die hard up there.
Been quite a bit of contact with them. This is going to be a big deal. It's a one-day show at TMS, and it's I think pretty much from 8 to 5. But businessman special type of thing. But looking forward to it. I think it'll be a good time. I'll be in the comfy confines of one of the garages there, set up with my stuff. So that ought to work out well. So it'll be good. It's supposed to cool off this weekend down there. I think it'll be 69 degrees on.
That's what I said. Locally, it's supposed to be like a high of like 71. So
man,
hopefully you don't get super cold this weekend down in Texana in my announcing booth. Every time it gets cold outside, the window fogs up because the mini split is in my room in the announcing booth in the tower. And it's designed to push out. So my room's always the coldest room on the property. So
that's shit. That's all right. It's so weird
it's
because
nice in the summertime, but in like the springtime, the window fogs up.
Yeah. No, in the mornings, I know in the mornings at home, it's like it's actually cold in the mornings, and I have to I've got a fan on in here, and I've got to reverse that bitch because it gets a little cool. And then, once you get to the afternoon, like now, it's hot, but it's kind of crazy right now. But we better take in Texas, because we are in Texas, depending where you're checking in from. It's very timid around here. I mean, and once the heat starts, it's not going to go away. I mean, we'll wake up in the mid 80s probably when
it's La Nina coming though.
Yeah. So it's
supposed to be they're talking about a rainy season come the fall. So
shit, it's about time, man. I mean, this is ridiculous around here. So
6-year drought down here.
Well, hopefully we get the summertime for racing, and racing is cranking up everywhere. I mean, there's just been so much of it the last couple of weeks, and big races that are important, races that matter, and it's getting going. The baseball season starts tonight. Opening night baseball on Netflix.
As a Netflix, I was going to say, it was Netflix or Amazon Prime. I couldn't remember.
Netflix. But before scheduled to join us, because this show is live. So if you're checking in, hit us in the whatever forum that you're on. If you're on the Revved Up page, if you're on the Dirty Air Sports YouTube, even if you're on Ultra. Chat with us there, because we're going to see those. I mean, those are live. This show, if you're catching it for the first time, this show is like Bobby says, this show is like not many others, where you're going to interact with us as it's going. I mean, because it's happening right now. I got to tell you, so did you watch last night? I mean, it was a big night, I think, for short track racing. Did you? Oh, but the guest, we're going to talk some Houston Motorsports Park coming up a little bit later on with Terry Barden. These folks are scheduled to join, and this is, of course, a live program. And then later, Steven Danielson will join us from the South Texas Race Ranch over in Corpus. But did you happen to watch? You had some high limit racing last night on the big TV. On the big TV,
it was a good showcase there. It was a really good show. It just goes to show that the ability to run a quick and efficient show. I was surprised that nobody complained about the commercials there in between the couple of the breaks that were kind of back to back as they had nothing going on.
I saw that. I was
wondering, some people were like, man, there's too many commercials in high limit. I didn't see a lot of it. I'm sure it's out there just because we know the way people are. But once the show got going, it's there. There's something about the the show. I mean, it's very similar to the World of Outlaws. Obviously, there's only so many different ways you can run a sprint car show, right? With the same kind of concept. So it's the product value was there, production value rather was there. Commentating was on point like normal, and I had a good time watching it. It was a lot of fun, although they didn't cover the whole thing. But they look, it's on FS1, and that's big time TV for a lot of stuff. Like when they run the Cars Tour stuff on FS1, that's the best place to be when they Cars Tour stuff, because it runs, the Cars Tour ratings were as good as the average ARCA race on FS1 last year.
I still, and that's where I'm starting this program on a negative note, surprising to many, but probably not many, is that still there were folks last night that, you're talking about the commercials, and kind of my whole thought with the commercial thing is, and I get that with some of the big, cup racing and all the different things right there. I mean, odds are if you have a lot of commercials, that's a good thing. that means, you're selling that airtime, but it's still, I was seeing last night that, I can't believe that Dirt is doing this. Why are they on this cable, having to pay whatever? And, my whole thought is, okay, well, then watch it on Flow. I think you're paying for that too, right?
You say you're actually probably paying more for that
right.
than you are for the FS1 that's part of your sports package on cable, despite that's a bad word nowadays, cable.
Right. And it was, and I did, it's like people are like, oh, I can't believe that they're stooping to that point. I'm like, stooping? Are you kidding? That's like reaching. I mean, that ain't no stoop. When you're on, and it was a Flow production. I mean, it was they had Flow mics. It was the Flow people. I mean, it was Flow.
Yeah, and then occasionally they would have to remember to say FS1. They kept saying on Flow.
Right.
On Flow, so they actually had to say FS1, but I mean that's where Eric Brennan's such a pro on the Cars Tour stuff, and when he does the ARCA stuff, he's such a pro.
But it's
guy's gonna cut his. I hope that guy gets a national break here within the next year or two.
Absolutely, but it's just I don't see how still this is negative. It's like, look, this is a big night. This is a big night to celebrate, and on top of that, and this is where I go back to and analyzing TV ratings and doing different things for different stuff that I do, to where it's like you're on FS1, you're on a Fox branded, you were on the Fox Sports channel. I mean, that is the Fox Sports channel, and you were on that on a Tuesday night in the middle of March Madness without any March Madness.
Baseball,
I think there was some women's basketball. No, there wasn't.
There's nothing. There is nothing going head to head against it.
Yeah, there is none of that on. And I mean, you own the night, and you had a 2.5, almost 3 hour window there where you were the sole thing. That's how you pick up fans. And I still, for the life of me, cannot figure out how the fact that something like that on that platform, how is that negative? And folks are still reading that as negative. And the whole thing came in to where it's like, I did see some of the comments about, well, High Limit's kind of trying to be NASCAR. Well, look who fucking runs it.
Shit.
Yeah, that's kind of the way that works. It's kind of the way that works. Sorry.
The only thing missing, I thought, was Larson. Like, you figured Larson would have tried to run that show, but I mean, all in all, I mean, I think that the stars were out, the stars were aligned, and it was an entertaining show. You had enough for everybody. Had some pretty gnarly crashes there in the heat race and the LCQ. And so, you had a little bit of everything for everybody. If you're a fan of the 410s, I mean, it had something for everybody.
Yeah. I really think it did. And it's going to happen again. I mean, I think that I heard them say, I think in a month. And I think that that's a really good thing that they're able to do that, to where it stays kind of fresh on the mind, to where people will see that. And they're like, oh, I remember that's that other race. They're going to say that's a other kind of NASCAR is what they're going to say.
Probably what they're going to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or that crazy car with the wing, whatever the hell those are.
Yeah. But I will tell you, one of the funniest texts that I got last night, and it's from not really a racing person, but that understands it enough to whatever. And it was like, I've watched just a few dirt races. He's like, I've just watched a few dirt races. Is it always that if you start first, second, or third, you're going to like win? Like, Well, it's a
Not
shorter
always.
race.
Yeah, a little, it's a little easier from the front couple of rows.
Right. Yeah, it's a shorter race, and that's I just think that it's a great opportunity for High Limits to be doing that because, like we've talked about, it is. It's very entertaining. It's very fast moving. It's kind of that whole attention span that we've talked about on this program for so long, Bobby, to where it's like you've got a very finite amount of time to capture an audience, and if you're able to do that, you're able to do it in an exciting fashion, high limit, high velocity. It's going to work out well for you, and it's I think between them and the Cars Tour, the fact that they're getting to do this with the help of Flow, it's a really good thing for I mean, I guess that's still grassroots, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's the major leagues of grassroots racing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's kind of like it's a hard comparison, but it's kind of like Banana Ball. When
Yeah.
Banana Ball pops up on ESPN, yes, your hardcore baseball people don't like it. Your hardcore dirt fans don't like it being on FS1. But at the same time, eyeballs are going to watch it, and that's going to increase the value of the property, and that's all that matters, really.
Yeah, that really is the main thing, and I think for Texans, I mean, you know, the fact that you get some of this, I mean, I think that the fact that High Limits rolls into Fort Worth, you know, a couple of, well, I don't know if it's a couple of times this year, but the fact that they are there,
They should be there during Cup weekend.
yeah, no, I know they're on Cup weekend, and I know that last year was towards the end of the year where they were there as well. But hey, man, I think it's a time to be celebrated. But I will sit here and tell you that I was not surprised to find the negativity. It's like, yeah, come on. I mean, there's good things here. There's good things to be had by growing. You know, growth can be a good thing if we let it get that way.
If you let it happen organically. It's not like it was shoved down everybody's throat. The only promotion I saw on it was on the social media pages for High Limits, because I did not see not a single commercial for it during the Cup race.
Nope.
You would think that your target audience is the Cup race. Racing, all kind of ties together. There was not one single bit of promotion. There was more promotion to save Greenville Pickens Speedway than there was for the High Limit race on Tuesday night on the same network.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, the thing about it is, like, even yesterday, I mean, I was actually on, well, I had FS1 on quite a bit in my office, and I mean, I never saw anything. I mean, it was there in the guide.
There was no promotion of it.
Yeah, and that's, again, that's where I think it's a really good. You look at what Fox is doing here, and say what you want to say about Fox, but you know, I know the Cup coverage, maybe folks are not happy with what they're doing with IndyCar. We talked about last week is just massive, but now they're dipping into that stuff. So if you want to say that Fox's commitment to racing is not all too genuine, I don't think that's necessarily the case. And on top of that, I mean, where Fox is not stupid about this, IndyCar content is cheap. I mean, for what
they're NASCAR content, it's cheap, and they own part of the rights.
Yeah, and that right there, you're just piggybacking off a streamer. So
they didn't have, all they had to pay for was Spectrum and Airwaves, because none of that production was Fox.
Absolutely.
It was the simulcast. It was a simulcast on FS1. It was a Flow broadcast simulcast on FS1.
They're doing exactly what we're doing right here. We're doing a show, and it's going out to about 6 or 7 different places. That's exactly what they're doing, and that's where it's so easy. And on top of that, they're giving them coveted prime time in the middle of a massive sports season right now. I mean, I've got FS1 on right now, and they're replaying one of the WFL or UFL conference championships. I mean, who's watching that? Not near as many people that were probably watching that last night that was live.
Yeah. I mean, you know, when you think about it, the grand scheme of things, you're on the same network that IndyCar's on. NASCAR Cup Series racing is on.
Yeah.
Truck Series racing is on.
Yeah.
And NHRA racing is on.
Right.
That is a big win in terms of motorsports content.
That's huge. How is that bad? You know, I don't get it. I don't get it. But that's just
social media is negative. That's what it is.
Well, we'll have some social media thoughts coming up here in just a little bit. But before we get to that, let's hit our on-demand shirts. Of course, on-demand shirts out of San Antonio. That's our great friends there that do just a tremendous job with apparel, the official apparel provider of the Revved Up Sports Show. You can get that stuff. Check out the Facebook page at On Demand Shirts. If you go to the YouTube link in this video, in this live stream here, there's a link right there that takes you right to the Revved Up and Dirty Air store. We go to the hotline and we're joined. It's race time in Houston once again. By the way, friends, there is an asphalt track still in Houston. Despite what people say, Houston Motorsports Park is still there. It still races. There are several classes that race, and it races 8 to 10 times a year. And they fire off on this Saturday, getting going once again. And they've got a welcome face back up in the tower. Race director making his way back out, a longtime racer out of the San Antonio area. We welcome to the Revved Up Sports Show once again. It is our man, Mr. Terry Barden. Terry, how we doing, sir? Well, that's pretty good.
Lots of stuff to say to us, huh?
Oh, I tell you, Terry's just full of conversation today. We'll kind of pull him off of there and see what might have happened. Man, you see that after that intro, and there's nothing there.
Well, it does get confusing when you have to put your microphone, give permission to the browser and all that. It's not quite as simple as a Zoom call where you just press a button and here comes your shiny face and your perfect audio.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to message him and we will get him back in the queue. But like I was talking about right there are a lot of people that reach out and they're like, hey, what's going on in Texas? Obviously a lot of dirt, but I mean, there is still that pavement track there. And there is still, it's a smaller group as it's gotten to now, but there is still a group of people that really want that thing to work out. And there's bona fide classes of cars, and it's like anywhere else where we talk about with some of the tracks around the, Georgia and Tennessee and some of those areas to where, as we've mentioned, the legacies and the legends, they're kind of the ones that are blowing it up, but there's still a good amount of other race cars out there.
Yeah, and they just recently, we'll talk to probably get a chance to talk to Terry about it. They just released the pay scale, like within within the last 30 minutes on their social media page on the H&P Oval Track Facebook page. Payouts are posted for the season opener coming up on March 28th this Saturday.
Oh hell, that might grow the count. That might grow the count, and I think kind of one of the things, and again, this is something that we can ask him, but again, personal opinion, is where when a lot of folks have asked about, well, why not more racers in Texas and so forth, I think that's where it comes back to the amount of dates. And I know that it's been frowned upon in the past where I've said the amount of dates, and it's like, but it's really hard to acquire dates when there's everything else that we talk about, Bobby, that goes into doing this. It's not just a matter of turning the lights on and making the hot dogs like you talk about. It's all the other stuff. You said paying the purse. Who's paying for that? I mean, it's probably the promoting staff that's doing this, that's probably coming out of there. They're renting the facility. They're doing all of these different costs that go in there and then still have to pay the racers. Yeah, you charge people coming in the gate, but those numbers just don't add up in here. I write with two things. I write with black and red. And when you're doing racetrack numbers, you don't get a lot of these.
That's right. Sometimes the math don't math.
Right. The math is just not there. And I think that's part of to where when we talk about the growth and everything that works well with the small cars is that they're able to go to Mobile. They're able to go to the different places to where they have those opportunities, to where the big classes, they're more confined to what their Texas class is.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they really are. And that's the sad part about it is that, we know, and we're not going to name names. We won't throw anybody under the bus. There are racers that just basically shit on H&P and decide they want to run in the Southeast. And the problem is sometimes when they go out there, they don't run very good because they only run 1 or 2 races a year when they've got something in their backyard that's just as competitive and just as easy.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's try him again. Once again, the great Terry Barden joining us. We think we got him now. Terry, how you doing, sir? God, I tell you. Well,
tell him hit the phone.
Yeah, I might have to do a little switching around here. right quick, and we can definitely do that. Again, your live comments right there. Harry checks in. I'd like to say something about South Alabama Speedway, talking about the small tracks. It definitely should be the top of the list. I mean, John Dykes and that group right there have definitely proven how well they do short track racing. And that's one of the things to where I think with South Alabama Speedway is so great, that in that land over there of the great half miles that we talk about all the time, that you have the South Alabama Speedway that continues to host this Rattler race. It is just tremendous. And then at the same time, their local classes are that's kind of unheard of.
That Thursday show was damn good.
Oh, dude. And it's one big race. I mean, they run the one big race early in the season, and then they just kind of roll from there. I mean, South Alabama is amazing, and it is. It's John Dykes and those folks that make it happen.
Sorry, I got sidetracked with the dog here. No, I mean, I think that whole race weekend turned out to be obviously, when you have one marquee event, it gets kind of hard to come through and have, the whole racing world, short track world, and in this case, the super late model world and pro late model world, shining down on you. But they made the best of it. They really did. It was a really good race. Both races, the pro race was good. The super late model race was excellent. The finish was outstanding. I'm sure we were going to talk about that a little bit later. But I think in terms of the overall, I think that the production that they took, it's one thing to have a show that comes through and changes the vibe of a race. And I'm not saying it changed the vibe of the Speedway, but when you have a race production like they had on the 50th anniversary of the Rattler, that makes people want to go to your racetrack when there's not the big marquee race, that's when you've got a great production and had a really good solid weekend.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it too, to where it really is such the marquee event, to where when this thing rolls around, that that there are people that travel far and wide just because of the hospitality of South Alabama Speedway. And that, having been there, that really is a place where you roll into that place, and it feels like the racetracks that we grew up at, to where you go in, it's got the real cozy confines in there, Bobby, and it's like you go in and you feel it. You feel it. And I know that there was a little bit of, some of and I hated that this whole shit happened with Matt and with.
That was an unfortunate black eye for everybody.
Well, and the thing is, I
understand both sides.
I do too. I mean, that's some Southern people, dude. This is something I'm dealing with now. I just don't communicate when I need to. I'm glad that passed. I'm glad that all is good. But other than that, I mean, how can you find anything wrong that happened at South Alabama?
I mean, hell, even the weather was nice comparatively. Yeah. I think moving it to Saturday was the right move. Obviously, they did just because they had to a couple of years ago because of the weather that blew in on a Sunday, and they moved it up to a Saturday. But I think Saturday is the right day to do it. I mean, you have your other marquee races, unless it rains, like it normally does, because at least one race out of the whole Derby weekend always rains out, or one day always rains out. So you've got that. But I think moving it to Saturday was a brilliant move, and keeping it on Saturday was even better strategically because, if you have the opportunity to go, you take off early on a Friday, at least for us guys out here, take off at noon on a Friday, try to get through all that Louisiana construction and Louisiana cops, get through there. And then you come back and you get there late Friday night, get up, go to the racetrack, spend the night, get back up in the morning and drive back. I mean, on Sunday. So, I mean, I think it's a good, logistically, I think it works damn good to be on Saturday.
Absolutely. Like it a lot. All right, here we go. The advent of technology.
Hey, there you go.
He figured it out.
I told you a long time ago, man, me and these computers don't get along. This is only the 7th computer I've turned on.
I was hooking up the phone. I was about to dial you up and do all these different things, but I saw you had help. And
I had help. Actually, Rodney, I wasn't quite ready for you yet, so I had to wait till I got one. So that's what I was doing. I understand. I totally understand.
So, friends, for those of you that don't know, and we'll talk about Terry here. So Terry Terry is just, one of my true great friends. I mean, I just love this man so much. I mean, just from racing history and time that we've spent together. But Terry and I are the aficionados of cheap asses. We drink a lot of natural light. I mean, when I was doing race announcing, Terry's the lovely wife would always ask Terry, "Is Rodney going to be there?" And she double us up because we were going to be doing that. So
I've been in a post-race hotel room with you two assholes, and let me tell you about let me tell you when the beer starts flowing, the stories start getting deep. I was in my sandals one time, and I was knee deep in 2 stories. I was like, I gotta go. I gotta get out of here.
And almost all of them were true, Bobby. Almost all of them were true.
Well, sometimes the statute of limitations has run out on some of them stories, so some of them.
And that's a good thing.
Yep, absolutely. Terry, before we dive in here, I want to ask you this. So we were talking about, we'll talk about Houston here and kind of your return, but I don't know if you can see the comments, but Harry Wayman's talking right here about South Alabama Speedway, and you've been at this a long time, and he's talking about the Dykes family there in Opp, Alabama, leaving and saying thanks for coming. Race operations people, track owners, promoters, race directors like yourself, appreciating their patrons. How important is that from a man that's been in this game, for a couple years?
Well, it's very important. I mean, you got to thank I almost think you almost have to thank the fans as much or more than you do the racers. The racers, you always thank them because without the racers, you don't have a chance to put the people in the stands. But without the people in the stands, the tracks can't survive, and that's just a fact. We've seen this over and over and over again. First thing you got to do, and I tell all our drivers, we're in show business.
Yep.
You have to put on a good show. Whether you're having fun, you're doing it as a hobby. There's none of those local tracks guys that are doing it to make money. That's not going to happen. But they're in the entertainment business. They need to go out. They need to put a good show on for the fans. As a race director, as the people that are running the racetrack, our philosophy has always been get them in there, give them a hell of a show, make them think they got their money's worth or hope they got their money's worth, and they're going to tell people and come back. Mm-hmm. And the best advertisement, whether you're doing it, the worst advertisement a lot of times is on social media. We all know that. But the best advertisement is word of mouth. And if the fans have a great time, if they're newcomers, if you have some new racers come in, we have new racers that have signed up this year. They're going to have people coming to the racetrack for the first time. You've got to put on a good show for them and make them want to come back. Right. Give them the enjoyment and make them think, man, I can do that. Then you've latched on to another racer or a future racer.
Yep.
Yeah, I think, Terry, you hit on something with the new racers. I think it's always been amusing to me the way that it works, because when somebody's new, it usually starts out in some of the beginner classes or the more cost-effective classes, if you will. I don't want to say entry-level class because nothing's entry-level anymore. It's all expensive. But it's like those guys and girls, they bring a huge amount of people to the fan side. But then as you get further along, move up the chain, move up the ladder to your modifieds and your trucks and your late models and all of that, that's when those people transition to the pits. And you see those guys with a huge conglomerate of fans and pit crews going in there. In your world of experience, I mean, is it one of those that you need to cater from the bottom to the top, or is it top to the bottom, or is it you just have to find a way to cater to all of them?
You've tried to find a way to cater to all of them, but you are correct. The last, I guess, 2 to 3 years now, Owen Pittman had introduced the Crown Vics, the Crown Stocks. That is the most entry class of cars you can get into and have a great time. And it's been my experience, and Rodney, Bobby, when you start off in whatever class you start off in, you have so much fun that now you want to do the step up. But you've got to get the people interested in the lower classes to begin with. That's my opinion. You need to get them in the Crown Vics. That is the most inexpensive way to go. I mean, you can get one of those cars for less than $500 and come race. There was a time, and Rodney, you know this, we built hobby stocks.
Yeah.
for $500.
Yeah.
Now you're building hobby stocks for $5,000. You know, and so the best way to do it is to get in the entry class. And I think for me, as somebody that's trying to get somebody interested, I'm pushing that Crown Vic class. I'm pushing that. The guys that are running the trucks, the modifieds, the outlaws, they've been doing this a long time. They've already established themselves. They know what their budget is, and that's what they can do in that class. To get you interested, you've got to start at the bottom. That's just plain and simple. And to be honest with you, as we're seeing, it's younger and younger and younger and younger getting into this, and that's great. I think I hear people criticize them. I watched that Keelan Harvick kid, that Bush kid. Hey, they're going to be somebody to be reckoned with before long. And I think these young guys that are running the quarter midgets, they see that, and they know these guys started out in karting and in quarter midgets and stuff at 6 years old, 5 years old, and now look at them.
Yeah, exactly. So Terry, for you, kind of backstory for the folks that may not, know your history, whatever, kind of outside of Texas and kind of the southern regions here. So, longtime racer for you, and then race director, super late model series, limited late model series at various tracks around here, and now with the return back to the only standing pavement track, in Texas at HMP. Is this for you? I think I know you well enough to where it's like you want to continue to be involved in this because you think, because your knowledge is just so infectious and so important, I think, to racing right now. And kind of you're old school. I mean, you are old school. I've had folks that say, well, Terry does this, Terry does that. I'm like, well, that's the way we do things. How much of that is for you to continue to have kind of a little fingerprint on this to make sure that we're going to kind of keep pushing this thing in the right direction it needs to go?
Well, I talked to Owen a little bit yesterday. First time I talked to Owen as much as we did yesterday since last year when I left. I left because I had a little medical issue, and got that all taken care of. And hopefully everything's good, and we're going to start this over again. But you're right. Him and I had a little conversation, and man, I was glad he asked me to come back, and I was ready to go. And I'm glad that that we're going to do it. And you're right. It is. I hope I've already talked a couple of things to him about things that we used to do.
Mm-hmm.
That you were right, Rodney. I'm old school. I mean, I've been to the races since 1963. So, I mean, we're going to talk about being old school. That's about as old as you can get and still be talking about it. And the things that they did back then, the things that, and I'll throw some names out there, Ricky Ware did at his racetrack that was here in San Antonio. It worked. And it brought people in the grandstands. It made fun for the racers. And Owen and I talked about a couple of things, and it's stuff that we're going to continue to talk about, and hopefully we'll get re-implemented to what we used to do, and to make it more exciting and more racing. And then just I'll never be convinced that the old ways of doing things at a racetrack are not the ways to keep doing them now.
Yeah.
I think too many people have tried to do too much and tried to push it too far out there, that we talk about it. Let's get back to the grassroots of what we used to do that was successful, that kept the racetracks that I went to, even Houston Motorsports Park, when we first started running there, getting the fans in there, and packing the grandstands. And I think it can be done. I know that I have all the confidence in the world with what Owen's doing, and I just feel I'm privileged to be a part of it. I really am, and I look forward to it, and hopefully bring some ideas back that will help.
Yes, sir.
So Terry, how and you may not know the answer, and it's because it's that magic answer we all search for. Is how hard is it to translate that old school mentality that we know from being in racing for 3/4 of our lives to this new fan, this new racer who's into 30-second TikTok videos. You know, the attention span is not anywhere near than what it used to be. But the problem is that you don't run for 30 seconds. You run for 3 hours, hopefully, maybe 4 tops, 7 to 10 is ideal, right? But I mean, is it just as simple as trying to make the racing better, or what's that magic to just keep this new fan, this new era of racing attendees involved?
The in my personal opinion, Bobby, and you're so right, TikTok. There are so many things nowadays for people to do that we did not have back even in the 70s, 70s and early 80s. There's so much more for people to do. And you have a city like Houston that you have so many other options, the basketball, the baseball. I mean, right now we're getting into baseball season. We're going to go against the Astros when they're going to be in town. We've got to that's a big deal. And the one thing that can help to get the fans out there is more media.
Yep.
I think more local media, more of the sports people that are in Houston talking about HMP. How do we get them people on board? When I was at San Antonio Speedway, we invited the disc jockeys out of some of the different races to come out and race the cars one night. They climbed into different guys' cars and they raced, and they went back, and man, they blew it up. And I think that's the kind of things that you have to do. You got to reach out to the fans. We do a great deal on Facebook and on the social media to get out to people, but there's a lot of people. I don't know how many people are in Houston, and I guarantee you 2/3 of them don't know that racetrack exists.
Yeah.
And that same way in San Antonio, Austin, I don't care where you're at. It's hard to get it out there to them, but that's the way we have to do it. We got to figure out a way to do it.
Yeah. Terry, how much of it is Terry Bar, and some of that is, do you think that some of this for the new folks that maybe overanalyze, it's simple stuff. It's simple stuff, right?
It is. I mean, it's people, you talk to people and you say, yeah, no, I raced here, I raced there. What do you mean you raced? Well, I raced at this place, and if they pull it up, the old track that they can still see or whatever they can do, they said, you mean to tell me you went around and around in a circle? You went around and around and around trying to chase the guy that's in front of you or whatever you're doing. That's fun.
Yeah, it is.
That's fun. My question to them is, you sitting there watching it on YouTube, that's fun?
Yeah.
Instead of coming and watching it in person. You ever could 90% of the people that ever come and watch a race and again, they get a good show, you've got them hooked. And one of the biggest ways you can get them hooked is take their kids. Get their kids off their tablets. Get their kids off of the internet and show them, hey man, there's more to life than this. There's more to life than just sitting here. And that's what you got to do. You see it every Saturday when we're there. I saw it last year. It was growing a little bit better. It was getting a little bit better. Every week we were getting more and more people into the deal. And but it's got to start somewhere, and I think it's got to start at the lower people, the people that we know, that we see at the racetrack, that we seen 25 and 30 years ago. You're right, they're in the pits now. But if they're coming out and sitting in the grandstands, they're not seeing the people that aren't there aren't seeing what we're doing. Mm-hmm. And I think if the people would just come out and see it one time, they're hooked.
Yep.
I really do. I think especially you see somebody like them Crown Vic sliding around, and you see when we had the passenger, when we had the spectator racing,
that was Terry. People came just for that.
Yes, and they got hooked in that type of deal. Yeah. And I know some of them came back And some of them, a couple of the guys that did that actually have Crown Vics now because they enjoyed it. But they came out because they heard we were doing a spectator deal. They're going to bring their Camaro or whatever they had. And they said, man, I love this. And that's what it takes.
Yes, sir.
You know, Terry, I think the one thing that Houston has going for it, other than being the last remaining asphalt track, is it's got a wider range of classes to fill every need. And I think, and it's borderline where there's not that many, and it's not like the days where we'd have 10 classes and you'd race from 5 o'clock in the afternoon till midnight. You know, you've got a little bit of everything. You've mentioned the crown stocks. That's a crowd pleaser because everybody knows those. Then you've got the smaller cars. You've got the Legends cars that put on a fantastic race. Different people about it's not the size of the car, it's the type of racing that you see. Then you got the legacy cars. They put on a great race despite being a smaller scale. And then everybody in Texas relates to trucks. And then your old school racers like kind of drawn to the stock cars. And then your late model people are going to be drawn to the outlaws. And then, you know, your hardcore racing people are going to be drawn to the modified. So I think that there is a class that fits everybody's need in terms of what they're looking for.
Oh, I totally agree with you. I think that me being a hardcore racer, I like to watch all of them because I just want to see anything race. You know, I sit there and watch I don't know how much on Flow Racing and all the things that they have out there just to watch a race and just here again to watch them go around in a circle. I mean, it's exciting to me. But you're right that there is a class there for anybody and everybody who. From the people that, like I said, crowns, the legacy. The legacies is another great class to get your feet wet in. The legends, those guys put on a heck of a show every week, and they have, you know, you're racing against like we used to do, 25, you know, cars or more, and of course, the more cars that you race against, the actual more fun it is. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Yeah. Whether you're running in the front or the back, the more out there, the better it is.
Yep.
But you're right. There is a class there for anybody and everybody. There's people that don't care for the legends. All they're there for are the trucks and the modifieds and the outlaws. They're there for that's their type of deal. But these other classes, there is a place for everybody in each one of them.
Yes, sir. Terry, last one for me. So it for you getting back into this, it kind of talk about the way this stuff just, I mean, you talk about with Flow and all the different avenues that we have now, but man, it is just so hard. I mean, I can't get to short tracks the way I used to, and I miss doing the things that I did there. I miss driving. I miss hanging out with you guys and doing some race announcing and all that. But man, you can never really get away from this, can you? And it's like you kind of take a step back and you kind of take a breath, and then boom, it just kind of gets you, man. It's a horrible virus, man. It is a horrible virus.
It's from somebody that's never touched a drug except for aspirin or a Tylenol or something. I can't imagine anything else like this. I can't imagine anything that I know for me, except, you know, and I'm gonna sound corny. My day I got married and the birth of my two kids, I've never had as much excitement as I have in one of these race cars. And from the very first time, like I said, 1963, when I went and saw my first one at the old Pan American Speedway, when my daddy took me out there, I was done. I mean, I was mad if we didn't go the next week. I was up mad. When I got old enough that I got lucky enough, my wife was into racing. Her daddy used to race at the Pan American, at the old Pan American. And so I was lucky enough to marry somebody that was into it. And no, it's bad, man. When I left last year, the following race, I was ready to get in my truck and drive back and tell them, "Hey, man, I'll do this. Whatever I got to do, I want to be here."
Yep.
And no, yeah, it's you know, it like you said, you know, you got your TVs on right now. If there was a race on tonight, you'd be watching it. Y'all both watched them last night. I forgot about them. I didn't do it. You know, you're sitting around with all the things that we can do and we can watch. What are we watching?
Racing. Yep.
Racing.
You got it.
You know, and then once that bug gets you, or that needle gets in you, I don't care who you are, you can't get out. Shaw Palm Lehman's grandfather. Look at him.
Yep.
You know, how old is he? He's at every race.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
He's at every race. He cannot get it out of his system, and it's tough. But it's the greatest thrill you'll ever get into if you ever do it.
Yep.
That's right. It's the most adrenaline rush you can have with your clothes on. Isn't that what you told me one time, Terry?
That's exactly right. It's the most fun I ever had with my clothes on. I can tell you that.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Hey Terry, they released the purse, so you got that going for you now. The social media released the purse. Good solid purse for those cars coming up this weekend.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. That is yeah, I just saw it, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You know, that's a pretty good purse especially for the number of laps that we run. Our goal is, like I said, get them in. We start the racing at 7 by 10:30, even with a meet and greet. I do everything I can to get everybody in and out of there by 10:30.
Mm-hmm.
4 to 11 at the latest. When I worked for what got me into that, I worked for Frank Howell at San Antonio Speedway, and we had a red flag one night, and it was a slow cleanup. And Rodney, you know me, I want the cleanups to get on with the cleanups. So let's get the track cleared. Let's get them back to racing. The worst thing in the world you can do is have, just like you have in Cup and everything, too many cautions and too much downtime when people are there to race. And Frank Howell came to me one day and told me, or that night we had that red flag, he says, races, the lights are being turned off at 10:30. If they're still on after that, you're paying for them.
I love that.
And we checker flagged it at 10:25.
Love it.
At the last race. And he wasn't lying. 5 minutes later, the lights started turning off. So, we just try to get it in, try to get it out, and have fun for everybody.
I've always said it, Terry. I don't. If I stay at the racetrack until sunrise on my own accord, that's one thing. But I sure as hell don't want to be watching racing past 10:30.
No, sir. I totally agree with you. There was nights, and we all know this. We've been at racetracks where we didn't start main events to almost midnight.
Yep.
And that's the quickest way. By 9:30, 10 o'clock, your fans are leaving.
Yep.
And that's the worst thing in the world that can happen.
That's right. That's right. Looking forward to Saturday, my friend. Terry, man, glad you're back in the saddle there. I'll be checking in. I think so. Speed Sport, I believe, is where you'll be able to stream that. Yeah, if you can't get there, but they're in good hands with you, my man. You guys have a good time out there, and let's stay in contact. And definitely soon we need to.
Hey, if we could, we go back that far. We go back that far and really share one. But
I've got a Romco cooler still in the garage.
You got one of the red coolers.
Got one of the red coolers. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, I've filled a few of them up before too. So
I bet.
Yeah. I bet. All right. Well, guys, thanks a lot.
Y'all have a good one. We'll see you soon.
All right, but you too. Thank you.
Hey, Terry.
You got it. There he goes. Terry Barden. Back at the helm again over there at H&P. They're in good hands. They're in good hands with that fella.
Yeah, he loves what he does. He's done it a long time and one of the best in the business. So the one thing I learned about Terry is that Terry, and I was going to tell him this, but I kind of forgot, is that Terry can kind of be known for being an a-hole sometimes on occasion. But I will be fair and say he's an a-hole to everybody equally. So there's that.
Well, that's, everybody that always bitched about Neil Upchurch. It was like, boy, he's a dick. Oh yeah, he's a dick to you. He's a dick to me. He's just Richard.
Everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's part of that job. That's part of that job. Speaking of that job, not that title, but that job right there. Let's bring in. So now we go. We're talking. So we were over there, to San Antonio area, talking about Houston racing. Now we're going to the dirt side. Now we're going over to the Texas coast. And we're talking about the South Texas Race Ranch that just fired off last week. And a new promoter there, we welcome in, first time here to the Revved Up Sports Show. It is our man, Mr. Danielson, Stephen Danielson. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. How about you guys?
Doing good, man. First question, first night out of the way, and I will say out of the way because I know opening nights are always whatever, but when you're kind of new to the gig right there, kind of talk about getting that shit done.
Well, that's what our goal was going into it that week. But once we, 5 minutes after the drivers' meeting, we knew we had a good week leading up to that point, and we knew we had a pretty good racetrack for the first time for all of us to be working on it. So I was excited. I thought we were putting our best foot forward. A lot of new people, new flagmen, new officials. We're working on getting more safety equipment. Bringing in more wreckers, more push vehicles. It's just putting your finger on everything throughout the whole week. It was a daunting task because, 2.5 weeks before this opening day, I was fixing to start working on race cars and getting them ready to race. I wasn't going to be promoting nothing except myself.
That's why I was. So did you draw the short straw, or what? How'd that happen?
Well, I'm friends with Owen. I'll tell everybody that. That was the first thing I said at my new drivers meeting. Owen Owen Pittman is a good friend of mine. I kind of sensed something was coming on because he just was getting burnt out, and he has a lot of things going on, and he was being drawn away from the track at times because he was all over the nation. And I stepped in and helped him here and there to fill in the gaps. And over the off season, I could just sense there was just something he just wasn't telling me. And then lo and behold, I get a text message from one of the owners, and I think Owen kind of dropped dime that he thought maybe I was a candidate. And
You're like, thanks.
so we arranged an interview, and I had to take my wife. So before I could even answer any questions, my wife had a bunch of her own questions to ask first.
Oh my God.
And of course, all of those were all considered or wrapped around my health and what they were expecting from me, and making sure I could perform. So, but that didn't last too long, and then we were able to get down to business, and we were able to work out a deal. And the first night, it was a success. We didn't go without our hiccups, but I don't think there's no such thing as a perfect night in any racing. You can watch NASCAR and Formula One, and they got their problems too, But I think we reacted to our problems real well. Some people saw little things here and there, but we were able to overcome everything. We had a technical issue, and that was just communication between upstairs and downstairs, and we were able to work on that Sunday and do the best that we could with what hand we were dealt with. And all in all, I think I was able to maybe earn a little bit more credibility the day after the races with a problem than face a bunch of scrutiny for 2 weeks before we could race again. So I'm pretty happy with the way the first race went.
Love it.
Yeah, for the most part, social media was very kind, I thought, in terms of the opening night. Obviously, like I said, every track and series has their hiccups. Some of them are out of your control, and you just have to roll with the punches, right? I know Jen had some issues with the microphone and stuff like that, but all in all, what had been the biggest thing that surprised you the most? Obviously, you've been around Owen and know some of the different surprises that a promoter goes through, but it's like we tell everybody, it is not as simple as grilling a couple of burgers, coming in, making some hot cheese for nachos, and flipping on the lights. There's a hell of a lot of stuff that goes on a week before a race. So tell us, what was the first thing or the biggest thing that stuck out the most that you're like, oh, damn, I either A, didn't think about that, or damn, that's a whole lot harder than I thought?
There's not enough minutes in an hour, and there's not enough hours in a day. There's not enough days in a week. That's the biggest thing. I mean, everybody wants to talk to you. Everybody's got a question. Everybody had a problem about this or about that, and they want to know what the fix is going to be and how you're going to do this and how you're going to treat this. And, it's not overwhelming. It's just it takes so much of your time because you want to talk to them. You want to give them their due, time to present something to you. And a lot of it is good questions. And so we encourage it by all means, but it does take away from things that you really need to be focused on at certain times. So it's a balancing act, more than anything. I mean, I got sponsors right now that I haven't gotten to go see yet. They know I'm coming. They just are waiting for me to get over there. And, I'll probably see them sometime this week and call them at the last second when I'm heading that way. And, that's just the way it's going to go for a little while. But I wish I would have had 2 months to prepare instead of 2 weeks to prepare. But it is what it is. We're off to a good start. Everybody's got a really good attitude. That's probably the one thing I am surprised is I've been welcomed with open arms from a lot of people, and I'm a race car driver and I have been for 44 years and I've ruffled feathers and stuff. And I mean, I've had a lot of those guys come up to me and thank me for jumping in and guys that I've never talked to that have texted me and wished me good luck. And really, I mean, we're all in this boat together. So if I can get some good luck, it's just going to rub off on all them, and they get to benefit from it.
Yeah, absolutely. Stephen Danielson, promoter at South Texas Race Ranch. That is in Corpus Christi, Texas. And if you're familiar with Texas, rich racing tradition is indeed Corpus Christi. So I think that's one of those reasons where you're kind of keeping that beautiful town with a racetrack. And let's talk about that part right there, because I did want to ask you. So your racing career, I was there the night that you were back in Victory Lane a couple of years back. I think that was on a holiday weekend when all of that went down. That was so exciting for you and the family. Let's just kind of talk about everything you've done, because you're like one of the many that that end up in one of these roles to where it's like it's one of our own people. It's one of our racing persons that are going to do this, because you're not just going to find some Joe Schmo or Sally Struthers on the highway that's going to come do this shit.
Yeah. No, it's gone full circle. I mean, I grew up in Bishop. I graduated in Bishop here in South Texas. So the first thing I did when I graduated is I moved to Houston. I had to get out of this small town stuff and go live it up in the big city, and I did. And here I am. I've worked my way back into South Texas and Corpus, and I'm glad I'm down here. But when I was here as a kid, man. You were watching guys, Terry Labonte, Rick Rapp, Slick Yeoman, the Michaelcheks, the Flanagans, the list goes on and on and on. And now you get to see not only their kids, but their grandkids are racing, and it's pretty neat. And so I was afraid that nobody was going to step up once Owen had decided what he was going to do, and then it was just going to disappear. That's what I was afraid of. And that was the main driving force is this rich history just cannot just die. I mean, it's too important to a lot of people. We just got to figure out a way to revive it and move forward and grow from it.
Yep.
So we actually have this. I don't know if you can see that. We have the 2026 schedule posted. And that's what I appreciate the most, is that you guys found a way to slide into what I think is the perfect complementary schedule to the rest of the South Texas tracks in terms of everything. Cotton Bowl South, right? You got us at Texana, you got I-37, you got Cotton Bowl. You guys are running when everybody else is not, including the big holiday weekends. And I think that is just a genius move, because you're not running on top of somebody. I mean, how much thought was put into that? Was it quite that simple that you didn't want to race on top of somebody if you didn't have to?
Well, I'll tell you right now, I'm no genius by any means, and I didn't make that schedule. I would just be honest with you. I'm transparent about everything. But I was working with Owen a little bit when he was putting this thing out, and he told me what he was going to do and everything. And And yeah, it just fell into our laps, and we were the last ones to put the schedule out. And I think it benefits the other tracks too. I mean, we're not racing on top of them. You know, they're not racing on top of us. We don't have enough cars to share between 3 tracks, 4 tracks, if you want to include Cotton Bowl. We just don't have enough cars for that, you know, so I think it's going to benefit everybody one way or another.
Yeah. I know when he was putting that schedule together, I talked to him in Tulsa, and he's like, I don't know how people miss these dates. It was like,
Yeah.
you know, so no, that's great. So you mentioned your wife. So and again, we don't have to delve into too many personal issues, but there are some health things that you have dealt with and will be dealing with. How great to have kind of that I don't want to say sidekick, but to have that partner right there that is kind of going to have your back, going to have your. Terry Barden was talking about how his wife being a part of his racing. I mean, you got to have that.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't be doing it without her support. But oddly enough, I've been married and divorced, and I swear to God, there was no way in hell I was going to get married again. There was no way. And but then I moved down to Corpus, and I found this good-looking little track photographer, and so that was right up my alley. She liked racing, so I was like, okay, she's already on the right foot with me, you know. So one thing led to another. I was actually promoting one of the last events at Shady Oak Speedway. It was the South Texas Nationals. And I made her my photographer for the event. She made a couple $1,000, and man, she loved me from that point on. Yep. So yeah, she's been, you know, by no means will she let me get away with everything I want to do. But I mean, that's what marriage is about. You know, you got to compromise.
That's what I've been told.
Compromise, yeah. Sometimes I've always heard the happy spouse runs the house. That's how I try to run it over here. So. The best thing about the schedule, I think you guys got it nailed. One of y'all's favorite events, the Easter egg extravaganza, coming up on Easter weekend, April 4th. You know, that is just an event. That is like the front porch to the racetrack. I feel like those Easter events, because you get the kids. Even Terry was talking about it. You get the kids involved, and when the kids have a good time, they're begging mom and dad to come back. And then if mom is happy, everybody's coming back, and that just helps keeps the door open when the kids decide they want to go, and then everybody starts going. Talk about the importance of having that show there on Easter weekend.
Oh, well, that's probably the one thing that got me where I am right now in this position is we started this Easter egg extravaganza 4 years ago, and we did it in the honor of Cheryl's dad. He had passed away, and we decided to do this little Easter egg hunt, and it went really well. Only problem is we ran out of eggs on the infield, and my wife sees these kids crying, so she's handing them $5 bills and $10 bills instead of eggs. And I said, okay, we're not going to do that. We're going to get more eggs next year instead of cash. And so it went from 1,000 eggs to 10,000, and this year's 35,000 eggs. We are the largest Easter egg hunt in all of South Texas. We give away normally around 12 or so bicycles, all different ages, probably 24 scooters, gift cards. We got sponsors that just every day for the last 3 weeks have been dropping off boxes of candy and eggs and bikes and all that stuff. And it's really grown into a huge event. And for the last 2 years, it has been the number one event at South Texas Speedway as far as a viewership and admission. It's been our largest event, and so we're looking to build on it. Last year we had I think it was like 800 kids, and it was complete chaos on the infield. It takes 3 weeks to put all these eggs together, and 3 minutes are gone.
Yeah, damn kids. Gotta love them. Gotta love them. I know in my time there, I would always say the best fun in Corpus was right there at the corner of Brownsville Road in Saratoga. Kind of talk about just so when you go to the race ranch, and again, I mean, folks that aren't familiar with Corpus, I mean, it's not far from what you would consider Corpus. I mean, it's kind of off the beaten path, but kind of talk about that part, because you go to the race ranch. There's a bar there. There's whatever. There's food.
Yeah.
Talk about that part, man. It's you got everything going on out there.
Yeah, you got a little bit of everything. I mean, I just learned this week at 3:00 in the morning, I got people doing donuts in the pits that I got to deal with. But I mean, let's just add that to the list of things I got to worry about.
Yeah, well.
It's entertaining to say the least. There is something for everybody out there. When you said the kids, it ain't just the Easter egg extravaganza. We use that as a learning tool, and we've told Owen, man, go through the kids to get everybody to come to the races. So he starts bringing in jumpies behind the grandstands for kids to go play in the jumpies. Next thing you know, he comes up with a school bus. Yep. Now he's got the school club, the kids club. This last week during intermission, we filled that school bus up 4 times, fully, completely full of kids doing laps during intermission. They all had a ball. And, man, I hope those kids are going to be screaming and hollering in 2 weeks from now to want to come back.
I've got it.
So,
Stephen, I've got to tell you this part. So when he first gets the bus, I when I would work out there, I'm standing on the track or right there, by the fence or whatever, and I'm like, here come the kids, and I'm waving at the kids or whatever. And these are the kids of today. These are kids of today. So the kids go by on the school bus, and I'm like, let's wave at the kids, and half of them are waving, and the other half are like this. Driving by the bus, I'm like, wait a minute. Family fun. Only at the track.
South Texas hospitality. Yeah. That's what that was.
South Texas hospitality. Thanks a lot.
Well, Owen would actually he would take them off into the pits and run them through the pits, while everybody's working on their cars. We didn't quite do that. Owen's a little braver than I am. When he comes off the pits, he's catching air, so these kids are like jumping out of their seats and stuff. So they probably like that ride better than the ride we gave them. Right. But I ain't as brave as Owen is. Right.
So, in your mind, first season out, first race out, what is going to be the main goal? And is just keeping everybody happy, keeping the doors open, and just keeping it rocking and rolling. Is that the main goal for 2026?
No, our goal is we're shooting for the moon. I mean, we're looking to build on what we started last week. We've already made significant changes. We're hiring like 6 more concession people because our concessions was 40 people deep. So we've already ramped that up. So we're going to have 4 windows open instead of 1 window. We are adding equipment into the bathrooms, the men and ladies' bathrooms, to make it more efficient, to where you don't run out of toilet paper and all that kind of stuff. We're trying to like fix little areas to where it runs more efficient. And part of that is putting people's butts in the grandstands. We got to have people up there. And I'm telling you, we had 450 people this last weekend. But that was the best 450 people I think we've had in a long time. You had mentioned the microphone. We had some microphone issues. The first time the microphone acted up was 3/4 of the way through the national anthem, and the national anthem gets cut off. It in the middle of the song, and everybody in the stands was prepared, and they sung it without missing a note. And now that is going to be our calling card. We're going to do that every single race. We're going to cut the microphone off, and we're going to let the crowd finish that national anthem every time we race from now on. We're going to be the only ones in the United States that do that until people copy us.
Which will happen quick.
It'll happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, that was probably the number one thing that surprised me, because it was early on and we thought we were ready, and whammo, that happened. And we had drivers that were in the restrooms or and walking around, and they heard it. And I got text messages that next day over it. It was really, really cool. So we're going to run with it. We're going to do it.
Would you tell them that's the way you had planned it? That's the way you planned for it.
Yeah, of course. That's just the way it works, I guess. Hey, luck has a lot to do with all this, man. Everybody knows that. You got to be at the right place at the right time, and luck is is a big player in all of this.
Well, man, I think it's I applaud you. I'm super excited that you're doing this because, like I said, I mean, racing is near and dear to me. I mean, obviously in Texas, but Corpus Christi to me is like, I mean, that's you know, I wasn't raised there. I spent a lot of time there, but it is so important happening there, man. I'm so excited that you're doing this, and I definitely plan to go up there and check you guys out here when I have some time.
Awesome.
Looking forward.
Well, we love to entertain you guys. You know, the Corpus Christi history is pretty rich. We brought one of the more popular races back this week. So starting this week, we're doing Australian Pursuit for a different class every week.
So
And
cool. I saw that.
Old
yeah, we're going to
school
start
right
off with the E mods. We had 17 E mods, which that's going to grow a little bit this next coming week. It's going to be pretty cool to see 24 cars line up in single file and have an Australian Pursuit until we whittle it down to 3 guys, and it pays money. We got 6 sponsors already lined up to carry that through the whole year, and we're just going to alternate a different class every single week, and have fun with something that used to be a really fan favorite. And I think it's going to return back to its glory day.
Oh man, I got to tell you. So my dad won an Australian Pursuit one time in San Antonio, but he kind of won it by, well, he didn't really win it, but this was back in the day where they used to make them start like Le Mans, where you stood on the fence and you hauled ass and you went in and you had somebody that strapped you in, right? So he goes over there and he had my uncle strapping him in, which my uncle probably was 12-pack deep by the time we got from Lockhart to San Antonio. They kind of fumbled around with the belts. Dad actually got lapped, took off, but he passed the cars and he like won the race. And he said, I don't really think I won that. I'm like, don't say shit. you won the Australian Pursuit. And that's great, man. I love that. That is so cool. So cool that you're bringing that back, man.
So we're listening. I mean, those are driver suggestions that some guys brought some ideas to us. We're listening and we're running with some of it and trying to figure out what we can do with other information. And it's got to be, you got to stretch that entertainment dollar to its maximum for the fans. And just like we also announced this week, we lowered our ticket prices for veterans and first responders and seniors. We lowered our ticket prices so we could try to get more of them there. And that so far we've gotten a great response from that.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So far, there's nothing negative. That's the best news you could come out of opening night. Nothing negative, everything positive. You guys are ready to rock and roll. And in the words of Rodney, you guys are ready to kick some ass in South Texas right there.
We are. There's nothing negative that I want to tell you about.
Well, that's where I think you're such a good, like you and Terry. It's so cool having you guys on because I can tell you this and you know that I'm right, to where it's like, well, don't get too excited because something will happen. And
Yeah. Right now I'm trying to figure out how to fill my water ponds back up since we're in a drought down here, but we got it under control.
It's all good. Man, super excited again about this. Thanks for jumping on here, and we will see you soon there in Corpus Christi, man. Congratulations, I guess, on this gig.
Yeah, I think so. I was nervous a little bit going into one. Now I'm ready to. I wish we were racing every week now, but anyway, I'm ready to go.
On. And you still have a badass hot rod for sale too, right? That folks can.
I do. I might be putting my little sidekick back in it like I had last year, Mr. Starry. I might be putting him back in it if I can keep him from leaving the state of Texas every week.
There you go. Well, you know, the dude's got options, and
He does. He's a heck of a driver.
Yes, sir. All right, my man. Thanks for doing this. We'll talk soon, and keep at it, man. Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
Take care.
You too.
There he goes, right there. Stephen Danielson. And again, not a stranger to promoting. You know, he talked about the Shady Oaks there at one point in that conversation, but you know, it really was. I never really said it on here because, you know, I don't like to speculate on negative stuff. I was a little concerned that there may not be a racetrack open in Corpus, but like he said, hey man, 2 weeks, you know, how much time do you need?
Yeah,
Just
right.
fire the lights up and cook some hamburgers.
That's right. Grill up a few burgers, heat up some cheese for some nachos, and flip the lights on. It's that simple.
That's all you have to do right there, man. It's nothing to it. But they did it. It did seem like they really had a good night. And like we talked about with their schedule there. And again, let's pop that up right there.
That's a damn nice schedule.
It really is, man.
Right smack in the middle of everybody else.
And you kind of look at what they're doing right there. I mean, it really is a nice balance to where when we were talking to Mary Ann last week with Cotton Bowl, and again, they had a great, opening weekend, to where you look at where we talk about essentially a once a month. That's really what they're doing there. And because the other tracks like you guys and 37 and CBS, that they are kind of a 2 month, twice a month. And that right there is just that May 23rd and 24th. That's always a huge event over there, Memorial Day weekend. So I think that's going to be really big for them coming up after Easter.
Yeah, then you got the Independence Day shootout, the Friday and Saturday for July 4th weekend.
Yep.
The Labor Day show. Like, they just decided to hit it when nobody else is going after it.
And the thing about Corpus is, it's a beach town.
It's a destination city.
Yeah, it really is. It's a
minus
beach
the
town.
drought. There's stuff to do.
Yeah. I think a lot of Texans, to where it's like you start talking about beaches and they think about South Padre and Galveston and all of these different places. I mean, Corpus is a really cool place to go. I mean, you go downtown, there's plenty of nightlife and fun and different things to do there. So yeah, this is beautiful right here. And looking forward to a great year for them. And I think that they got a good man at the helm right there that's going to get it going for them.
Yeah, gonna be a lot of fun down there in Corpus. A lot of race fans looking forward to it down there. Drivers are looking forward to it. They were getting prepared whether they were going to run in Corpus or run at 37, run at Texana. But they're happy that they've got a home track to race at now, and it looks like everybody's fired up. The race fans down there are super excited about it, which is a great thing to see people in the stands and people ready to go.
And it really is with Corpus. When you go, you can go and look at race results from last week. It's like, oh, you see the names, you see the names on there, like he was talking about. It's like, okay, well, that's a synonymous name with racing in that part of South Texas. Speaking of checking out race results, there's one place to go. You don't even have to be at the racetrack. We actively tell you to go to racetracks or catch a streamer. If you aren't there and you don't pay for streaming or do any of that, well, there's one place to go. You download the My Race Pass app and you can keep up with everything that's happening at the closest racetrack near you. Even better than that, not even close to you. It is My Race Pass. We'll step away. We'll come back, get you more news and information. But first, a word from My Race Pass.
Welcome to the My Race Pass app, the #1 app for motorsports fans. We want to make sure you get the most out of your My Race Pass app experience. With your new free account, you can use the My Race Pass app to see race day information, including event entries and official lineups and results for over 600 organizations across North America. You can also see track information and purchase online event tickets for select tracks. With your free account, you can also search for a track or series on the My Race Pass app and favorite their profile to receive news and race day notifications on your mobile device. To see more information and to see which app subscription is best for you, be sure to visit getmrpapp.com. My Race Pass, the ultimate racing resource.
Absolutely. Race Monitor as well is a very good one that you can use to keep up with all of that kind of stuff. If you the smartphone, that's where the smartphones are very, very handy when it comes to those different scenarios. Talking about the Rattler, and we did have some comments there with the Rattler 250. It's Ty Majeski winning again for the sixth time.
Called it, nailed it. She did what I had anticipated, but I kind of thought he had a chip on his shoulder, ready to rock and roll from the Derby. He was ready.
Yeah, well, and you can go to ultrabroadcasting.com and check out the No Bull show with our man Alan Dietz, who's been very instrumental helping move this show tonight to Ultra. And I mean that's kind of what Ty Majeski said. I understand what happens, but we seem to make up that $50,050.50 this past weekend.
Yeah, they did. They definitely found a way to just make a hell of a weekend at it, man. I mean, the preliminary stuff there on Thursday was good. The pro late model race was good. The Rattler was outstanding. Lots of good stuff. Plenty of rattlesnakes there on site. Majeski was so excited to have another one wrapped around his neck. You think he'd be used to it by now with as many times as he won that race, but he still didn't seem all that excited about having that's what is that, about 6-footer wrapped around his neck there.
And it's funny that to that whole conversation right there that I was talking about, where I got the text about, starting up, first, second, or third in some of these races. Ty started 10th. I mean, it was not the qualifying. He was fast, I think, in a couple of different practices. He was the fast car, qualified 10th, but he's able to drive it all the way up and take care of business right there over some of the best in the business. And a great Rattler 250 there, the 50th annual. In the Baby Rattler 125, it is Jake Finch who wins that race, driving the historic Ronnie Sanders number 18. And we see today, you got 5 dates coming up for Jake Finch as he goes to Junior Motorsports in the number 9 car. And that's big for young Finch right there.
It's a big deal. That's a very competitive car. Speaking of new cars, did you see your buddy Max Cailles?
No, I missed that.
Got himself on the ARCA race at Hickory this weekend.
There you go. Nice.
I don't know who's driving it. I don't think Max is driving it, but they got themselves an ARCA car.
Hey, there you go, man. Those guys are branching out, doing a whole bunch of different things. And I mean, they've got legends and bandos and everything. So I'm
had
not
the list.
surprised.
He's like Bandolero check, legacy check, late model stock check, super late model check, modified check. He just kept marking them off the list. So I guess had ARCA cars to that too. Next thing you know, he'll get himself a NASCAR Craftsman truck.
Whoa! Oh, how about that? For Jake Finch in the O'Reilly series, I mean, you want to talk about a variety in racetracks. July 11th, Atlanta. And then hold on, I got to take these off. 9-5 Darlington, then Bristol, Charlotte, and Talladega. That's a little bit of a mix right there for Jake. That's
a little bit of a mix. That's a little bit of everything right there.
Yeah, that's all you need. That is.
I get to see them bad boys in Rockingham in 2 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
They're gonna go from racing the half mile there at Hickory to the almost 1 mile Rockingham, North Carolina Motors, whatever the hell they call it now, Rockingham Speedway Park. I don't remember.
Something that slid under the map a little bit, it seemed like, over the weekend, and it was just because of everything going on, and I think a lot of it being with the Rattler when it came to short track stuff. But you had the new IHRA Stock Car Series. They fired off at Pulaski, racing a little 4/10 of a mile, little speedway there. Pretty damn good. 37 late model stocks and 17 pro late models. That's not a bad way to fire out of the box.
Not when a lot of the pro late model teams are running in Alabama, so that's pretty good.
And I think where IHRA is, because I think the Cars Tour has it, and again, I'm a fan of the Cars Tour. I think you are too, and they're at a place where they've kind of made that transition to where they're, like we were talking about, mainstream. I mean, being on FS1 and doing all the different things. They've got a great agreement there with Flow, our friends at Flow, and everything that they're happening there. But I kind of think that they've made that transition to where they've maybe some folks either can't or don't want to be a part of that series for whatever reason. And I think that IHRA, with their late model stocks coming in, kind of the new kid in town, kind of like Cars Tour, what Cars Tour used to be, what I mean? That's that's kind of what IHRA feels like to me. And I guess at least 37 other people did too.
Yeah, right. Definitely an interesting mix. I'm interested to see the dynamic when NASCAR shows up at the IHRA-owned Rockingham Speedway, despite Track Enterprises still doing the lease. I'll be interested to see how that shakes out. That's one of the things that's kind of hiding underneath the radar, if you will, about the events coming up on Easter weekend. Yeah.
Kyle Dudley wins that late model stock race, by the way. But speaking of that, coming up this weekend for Texans, for our Revved Up Texas folks that are checking stuff out, you guys back in action again at Texana. That's in Edna. We talked about Cotton Bowl. Cotton Bowl, a very successful weekend this past weekend. You had I-37 in Pleasanton. That's in San Antonio-ish. That got fired up and going. So you guys as well. So talk about this point. Talk about this like from your aspect. So like Steven was talking about. So now he's fired up and ready for race 2 because he got the race 1 out of the way. I mean, because it's like those of us that have done this for a while, you know, no matter how you refine, no matter how you practice, no matter what you do, when you get to race 1, shit's going to happen. I mean, there is stuff that's going to happen that you can't pinpoint. You guys are y'all are doing egg hunting too, aren't you? This weekend?
Largest Easter egg hunt in Jackson County.
Nice.
It got confirmation today. Peter Cottontail, the Easter Bunny himself, will be there, and it's not going to be me.
Oh, well, that's even better if you don't have to dress up.
I'm going to have a set of ears on, but I'm not gonna be the one taking pictures with the kids dressed as the Easter Bunny. So
yeah, those things are those costumes are just
hot.
a little hot.
Ooh,
yeah,
hot.
It's like, and it's
good thing to be a little cool because Easter Bunny gonna be hot.
Yeah. And you will have, I know our friends at Heart of Texas Speedway, they will be Friday night show again, as they always have. I mean, we talked with them a couple of weeks ago. David Good joining us, talking about the Friday night lights happening at Heart of Texas Speedway in Waco, well, Elmont, whatever. Again, that's it. So if you don't know Texas, if you're catching this on one of the news streams, it's like the track in San Antonio, it's not. It's 40 miles from there. Yeah. The Waco, Heart of Texas Speedway in Waco is not in Waco. It's 12 miles outside of Waco.
It's 15 miles from Austin to Circuit of the Americas.
Right. Circuit of the Americas is in Elroy. HMP, I guess, is really the one that kind of is in Houston, I guess.
Well,
but that
Humble, but
Humble. Yeah. Where there's still a Ponchos, by the way.
Is the Poncho still there?
There is a Ponchos in Humble that I saw was verified. I had somebody that actually went. So if I ever am able to get back there anytime soon, I'm going to go raise the flag at the Ponchos Mexican Buffet. That was good times. Cotton Bowl Speedway, folks say Austin, not even close.
No, it's not even close to Bastrop, much less Austin.
Right. Yeah, it's closer to Giddings than anything else, and for you folks that are barbecue aficionados, it's somewhat close to Elgin, I guess, if you want to say that.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Was that 20 mile?
Yeah, roughly about 20 miles. I did good. I got back at 2:30 in the morning from Cotton Bowl this weekend.
Holy moly, man! I'd been sleeping for 4 hours by the time that came around. But you're young. You're a young whippersnapper.
Yeah, not as young as I used to be. Sunday was kind of a worthless day for me.
One thing that I'm looking forward to coming up this weekend is I'm assuming it's a doubleheader of sprint cars at Mobile. Ooh. Wing sprint cars at Mobile is something where I let that one go around in my head, and I'm like, holy smoke. They are going to fly around that place. No walls.
Just nothing but seat pucker and fun, huh?
Holy smoke. And I think they're doing Pensacola. I think they're also doing Pensacola. So it may be a double. But I don't know. Wow. That's crazy. Our man Magic Mike Knotts checks in. We were talking about the Legacy Series racing there at Houston with our man Terry Barden. Ready for HMP. Mike Knotts, one of the most colorful and best dudes. You see those guys out driving race cars down the rural roads? Yeah.
Right down 1518.
Brought back some good memories of the old days, doing that kind of stuff right there. Over onto the big leagues, NASCAR. Where were they this week? Oh, Darlington. Thoughts on that? It's rigged. Besides, it's rigged.
I just expected a little more chaos than what we got. I just thought with the new downforce package or the lack thereof, or the extra horsepower, I thought we'd see a little bit more carnage, and not really. I think there was only 2 natural cautions, and then there was the stage break caution. So I just kind of expected a little bit more. So that really it wasn't all that I thought it was going to be. I was somewhat. I don't know if it'd be negative to say I was disappointed, but I really thought there'd be a little bit more chaos at Darlington.
I did think that it would be a little bit better. The O'Reilly race, I think was better. It lacked. I mean, I really thought it lacked, and for everything coming out after. I mean, you can't. I mean, I don't care what you do. You can't rig the racing, and whether it's a NASCAR Cup Series race or a bomber class feature. You can't. I mean, competitors are not going to. I can truly say I don't really think the amount of money you can't get people to lay down. I mean, you just can't.
No.
I mean,
well, clearly Toyota's found something in the 750 horsepower that makes them smoke everybody else's ass.
And that's
it's pretty much that, yeah.
And that's the ebb and flow of this to where it's like, I mean, we see this on the short track side too. I mean, with the super late models and the pro late models, to where a particular team, a particular car builder on the late model side, to where they get all the, whether it's Hamke, whether it's whoever it is, they get on a particular roll where they do figure something out. And I think on the NASCAR side, it's going to change at some point during the season to where Toyota will be not as dominant as they are.
Well, there's just some tracks coming up for that 2311 team where they're not known to be strong.
Right.
Martinsville this weekend will be a challenge for them.
Right.
Bristol, the aero package at Bristol with more horsepower, that runs the risk of being a hell of a show too.
Yeah.
I hope people show up for the spring race because it's been a little bit less than well attended, if you will. I thought the crowd at Darlington was fantastic.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing, like Stephen was talking about. I mean, you want to get people in the stands. I mean, you want to get people there, and that's where I think that TV numbers. I mean, you take TV numbers for what they are. TV numbers were down, I guess, a tick from what I saw today on some of the other different places, but it is what
a lot of sports competition.
It's a lot of you're in the middle of March Madness. I mean, it's like once you crown a basketball champion here in a couple of weeks, you need to all of these sports, all of our motorsports, we need to take advantage of that while we have that little bit of time. Before we get out of here, we do like to drop sound from some of the the other shows that we like some of the sound that they provide. Door Bumper Clear, they did have the conversation with Matt Weaver where there was some of the discussion there about the Rattler, whatever that was with the logo and so forth. But that's not the sound that we're going to hear because it was not what's the bearded guy's name? The crew chief Kraft, Mr.
Freddie Kraft, the spotter.
Yeah, it wasn't Freddie Kraft. It was the other guy that so who's the other guy? I know.
Which are you playing? The one that I texted you about this afternoon? Or are you playing?
No. This is another one. I didn't.
Oh, Tommy Baldwin is the other guy.
Oh, okay. So it's Tommy Baldwin. Okay. So this is where we go back to, because you will hear us talk a lot on here about keyboard warriors, because we think that or I think, I don't want to speak for you, Bobby, but that hurts our sport. That hurts our sport a lot because people get, no matter what happens, you're going to find a negative, like we were talking about with FS1 last night, to where it's like, this was a big night for dirt track racing, and people still found a way to take a shit on it. And just some thoughts from Tommy Baldwin, just kind of with short track stuff off of what happened with the Rattler ordeal, if you want to call it that. If it'll cue.
There's too many other things going on with the social media that are affecting, and not in a good way, in our short track and our stuff. I just feel people feels so freely just to spout out whatever they want to say, right? And they don't really understand the consequences of what that affects. You know what I'm saying? For what, people's thoughts that really don't really matter, right? But they spout out all this stuff, and they don't even know anything about the situation, So I think, yeah, it's great that we're doing, can we do the Flow commercial now? But, that we have place, like Flow and all that stuff is great, and we got all these people involved. And I really feel like the short track industry is really growing now.
And it is. I mean, it really is. But
it's not pandemic levels, but it feels like there's a little bit of an upswing.
Yeah. I think that casual folks are starting to understand it, and it's not a bad thing whatsoever. Because this is where I go back to, I think the importance of NASCAR has always been, because it's kind of that top of the hill thing to where people understand what we do, and that there are other different forms of it, whether it be quarter mile, half mile, 3/8 mile pavement tracks, or quarter mile dirt bull rings, that it just really goes back to we're all in this together. It's okay to prefer one over the other. I mean, you can like pavement more. I'm a pavement guy, but I enjoy dirt. And if somebody wants to debate me about which is better, I don't want to debate it. You're not going to convince me. You know what I mean? And it's like people are always trying to convince each other which is better and talking bad about the other. Forget about that. Just enjoy it, whatever it is. Like sex, just enjoy it, right?
Enjoy it while you got it.
Enjoy it while you got it. Because when it's gone, it sucks. And there's a lot of sexy racetracks gone from Texas.
Yeah,
we've been a part of, you know.
His number one thing is that everybody feel like their opinion is the most important one and it matters, when 99% of it does not.
Right. And there's a lot of these shows that, you know, where people can just freely say whatever, because it's like, you know, you and I have both been in radio to where it's like everything is so mandated by the FCC to where you can't do this and you can't do that, and it's always protect the license. I mean, that's always the one thing, you know, that when I got into radio, the one thing I was told was protect the license. Don't ever let that license, you know, whatever. This right here, you can just kind of say whatever, and you don't realize that in the end game. And I think what he's saying there, in the end game, you want to protect the license of racing. And some people, I'm telling you, Bobby, it's like every Sunday, cup of coffee, feet up. Let's see who's pissed this morning. You know,
I know you don't even really have to see race results to know what happened at a racetrack. You just have to read into it, realize you may not know the whole story, but you know half of it.
That's it. You know one side of it. But anyway. Hey, it is what it is, but we keep coming back. Like Terry Barden said, you know, it's like it gets in you, and
every time you leave, you come back deeper than you were the time before. So
it's like no matter how much, it's like a bad relationship, and it really is for a lot of us with racing. It's like a bad relationship. You just can't get away. So anyway, man, this has been fun. Good program tonight. Talking to a couple of old dudes. Two old dudes talking to a couple of old dudes.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, you're younger. So
youngest guy in the building today versus being the oldest guy in the building.
Impressive. Very impressive. So you're to Texana on Saturday. Anything else on the horizon for you? You get a little bit of a break there, and then we'll do the show again next week, I guess.
Well, I leave on Tuesday, so.
Oh, that's right. You're gonna. Yeah, this may be a hiatus of the show, or this may be a solo or maybe me and one of the dogs next week, or maybe
depending on the schedule, I'll let you know. I mean, I fly in early on Tuesday, so I don't know.
They got internet over there.
Yeah, they got internet over there. I don't know how strong or what room I'm going to be doing it from. So
okay, I got it. It's all good. Fun program tonight. Thanks to the great Terry Barden for checking in. Our man Steven Danielson, and again, that's Houston Motor Sports Park. You can catch them out on Speed Sport. They will have the live streaming there if you can't for whatever reason get there. And South Texas Race Ranch, that's in Corpus Christi. Do some history search on racing in Corpus. You might be surprised on some of the names that you find that have been a part of that great town. All right, my dude, have a good weekend. Enjoy the time out there at Texana, and safe travels if I don't talk to you before you take off.
I'm sure you'll talk to me before we take off, but
yeah. The odds are good.
Odds are fairly good. So,
yep. All right, friends. # Real Race Talk. Be sure and subscribe to Dirty Air Sports on YouTube. Be sure and like.
$2.99. I looked earlier. $2.99. 299 subscribers. The goal's 500.
We were at 300. I don't know what happened. Somebody backed out.
Oh well, hell, that ain't very good.
Must have been one of those sports take things that I did. Probably my Houston Astros take. I probably had somebody from Los Angeles on there, and they heard me talking about the Astros, and they're like, no. It'd be like the kids on the bus. I think it's probably what happened. But yeah, help us push to 500. We'll even give you some swag. We'll give you some revved up sports show swag, courtesy of our friends at On Demand Shirts. All right, guys, we'll do it again next week. He is Showtime Bobby Chaffee. My name is Rodney Rodriguez. This has been the Revved Up Sports Show, friends. We'll catch you next week. Enjoy some short track racing somewhere. Get to a racetrack, find a streamer, support the sport we love. Take care, everybody.